Welcome back to Command West, the Commanders podcast, where we tackle the latest Washington football team news and answer the hard-hitting questions like, do we remember what we're doing? My name's Bradley.
I'm Tico Wells.
I'm Eddie P.
And I'm Donnie Roach.
And we are back.
We're back. We're put the band back together.
Command West. Command West.
Command West.
Back. So we got
some stuff to do.
Yeah, we got some exciting news. Last time we talked, it was the last game of the season. Some things happened. Super Bowl happened.
We were ready for a Super Bowl the last game. Yeah.
I'm not even sure. Did we touch on? Did Ron Rivera got fired?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we covered that because it happened the day after. Bye, Ron Rivera.
But also everybody got fired, and
almost.
I think that almost, yes. And I think that what we're gonna do, we're bringing you kind of a special 3-part series here in the next couple of days, and we're gonna talk about the offseason all together. We're gonna talk about the coaching and the management hires. We're gonna talk about the offseason acquisitions, and then we're gonna talk about the draft. We're gonna bring you 3 videos, rapid fire, right in a row, and we'll get you all caught up on what's been happening in Washington, ready for the season. Let's go. So
let's go.
The first thing we're talking about is the staffing hires.
So I mean, and the first biggie I think maybe even did happen before our last show was over. Was bringing in Adam Peters. Yeah. Right, as the GM, right? So they brought in Adam Peters from the 49ers. Like, he was the assistant GM over there. He helped build that whole team that went to the Super Bowl last year.
Yep.
He's got some pedigree, and right off the bat, and I should say even before they brought in Adam Peters, they brought in Bob Myers and Rick Spielman from the Warriors and the Vikings to find the right people to put in place. And the reason I want to say that is because right off the bat, it said to me that Josh Harris was putting smart people in place to make some smart moves, and he was taking his own ego out of the equation and saying, let me find the right people that can make smart decisions. And I that gained respect for me right off the bat. That it was a different era
we've been making for the last 15 years.
That's if you look at Bradley's T-shirt, it's not that era.
It's a new era. I didn't see that. That's
and to make sure it's era, ERA.
Era,
not ERROR.
Era. So we put together a team to go out and get the kind of the biggest name on the market, who is Adam Peters. And he was kind of the next man up of the big names. He had been under the current GM of San Francisco for a long time, and he had options. He had options over the last couple of years, and he chose Washington because we had some capital. We had draft capital, we had cap space, and that's really what the manager's job is to find the players to build the team, and then also find the coaching staff to build the team. And I think that kind of is a transition into what the next big offseason move was going after our head coach.
Yeah.
I want to hear. So, there were some names out there, but, we talked about the Lions OC.
Ben Johnson. Yeah.
Talked about that, but I want to hear what everybody's thought was when Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys, was named head coach of the Washington Commanders. What, gut reaction? Tico, you want to start us off?
I wasn't impressed. I wasn't excited. It felt like the same good old boy type situation. If you're in the club, you can stay in the club, So I don't know. He's been around.
Yep,
been around. And he seemed to have done a good job with Dallas on defense to a large degree. He's definitely not a scrub,
Yeah.
Right.
But I wasn't excited.
Yeah.
For reference, when Tico says he's been around, he was the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons in 20. I know he was fired in 2020. I'm not sure when he started, but he did go to the Super Bowl with them and lost notoriously to the Patriots while up 28-3. And then the Patriots came back and won that Super Bowl. So he's
biggest Super Bowl comeback of all time. He was on the other side of, unfortunately.
He's kind of notorious for that. So a lot of people were scared of that. Yeah. Eddie, what did you think when that first took place.
You know, anytime somebody's coming out of Dallas, I get hesitant to believe. You know, like, how do we know this guy isn't a plant that is coming in here to just like be like a little disease? And we got the cancer out of there. Now we've got some open. I just liked what he was doing defensively at Dallas. I hate to say it, every time they played us, they were friggin' killing us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't really have that many games against Dallas in the last, except for when Howell beat him in that last game of the season.
Right.
We really didn't make any effort to do anything against that defense. So that guy they held up, right? He was there.
Yeah.
So now I like his fire, and I like what you said about the cap space. I mean, obviously, when you put a team together like that, and you hear that this coach is going to be a part of it, I mean, guys just seems like he's got the right attitude.
Right.
And it seems like everybody seems to be on the same page.
Right.
And so maybe those are just, pretty much what you'd expect from somebody of that caliber, when you got a leader putting together a team like that and putting the coaching staff together. And I like the track record of a guy going to the Super Bowl. I mean, like you said, that was the most unfortunate way to lose, but I
But he took him there.
We won't let that happen again.
Well, and Eddie, that's a good. Let me. Can I jump in right there?
Yeah, please.
I forgot about this. Before that Atlanta Falcons thing happened, he was the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks.
Yep.
And the Legion of Boom.
Yep.
Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
So I got to give him his credit for that.
That's a great point.
And
Tico.
they won the Super Bowl 43-8
against the
so
Panthers,
that
right?
was Dan Quinn. That was Dan Quinn. So
there you go. Yeah.
So as a defensive coordinator, he's got some, and as a head coach too.
Yeah,
he's got some
cred. And yet I have to say, my initial feeling was kind of the same as Tico. First of all, I wanted Ben Johnson, and that fell through because Ben decided to stay in Detroit. And the last game that Dallas played last year, when they got eliminated from the playoffs, as happy as I was to see it, their defense looked like crap, and so it was like, take Dan Quinn out of the equation,
Right.
But then when you think more about it, you say, you look at, he went to the Super Bowl, he did great things with Dallas as defense coordinator, did great things with Seattle, and did great things as head coach. And since then, I just like his fire. I just like his, the one thing we always talked about, Riverboat Ron, sitting on the sideline like a bump on a log, my mother used to say, just like no energy, no excitement. With Dan Quinn, I think you're going to get some energy and excitement.
And I'm glad we bring that up because I want to echo the rest of my crew here. I also wasn't super excited about Dan Quinn. I felt a similar, kind of, wow, he kind of missed the mark there. But, as time passes and as we've watched him in the last few months since he started, the way he talks, the way he communicates with the media and with the team, he talks about growth. And I think that that's one of the things that I've really, really respected about Dan Quinn in this process is he talks about that 28-3 and how much that hurt him. And he talks about, if I got a second chance, if I got another chance at being a head coach, what would I do differently? And he's really begin to mull over that. And like Dad said, the fire that he brings to practice is, there's pictures of them the team. Now we'll talk about the team in a little bit, but holding logs because do it for the man next to you, doing hard bleep with good people, as he said. And I think that one of the things, when he talks about growth, leading into the next kind of segment here is hiring the people in charge. We talk about his strengths being defense, but when he talked about being head coach, he had the head coach of the 49ers on that team as his offensive coordinator. I'm forgetting the name. Kingsbury, Cliff Kingsbury.
No. That's our new OC.
Right. Sorry. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name.
The current coach of the 49ers.
Yeah, somebody look it up while I'm talking.
Yes.
So he had that, and he's a great offensive coordinator. But I think one of the things that Dan has grown of is he understands that his strength is defense, and let's put somebody who's really, really strong at the OC. And so he goes out and he hires Cliff Kingsbury to be the offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders. Dad,
Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan. Yeah. Thank you.
Used
so
to be
Cliff
with us,
Kingsbury, the new offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders, formerly the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, and then most recently the head coach of the USC, University of Southern California, Trojans. What's some thoughts that we have on Cliff Kingsbury?
Well, I think about him with Arizona, and so that means he's been coaching up. He was just with USC for one year.
I think multiple. I think he was there
because didn't he bring in Kyle Murray as the head coach of Arizona? Kyler Murray. Thank you.
Quarterback.
Quarterback. Right.
Yeah. So
and this will come into play in one of our future, trifecta of episodes here. But I feel like he may have a lot to do with our pick for quarterback, because I think people are comparing Jaden Daniels to Kyler Murray, and so you bring in a guy who likes that kind of mobile quarterback, a quarterback that can throw but can move, and he did. I thought he did pretty great things with Kyler Murray and that Arizona team. So
and I want to highlight, his track record with quarterbacks, because before all of that, he was at Texas Tech coaching, guess who? Patrick Mahomes. So he was coaching Patrick Mahomes. He was head coach for Kyler Murray. And then most recently at USC, he was head coach for the number 1 overall pick of this 2024 NFL draft, Caleb Williams, who went to the Bears. So he does have a very, very a good track record with developing, like Dad said, mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So I think that's
I almost well, he could have done he's earned, after being a head coach, he's earned a coordinator spot, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think he
can definitely be
going for the head coaching job. That's I think that's what his eyes are set on.
He wants another shot at that too. Yeah,
I think he wants.
Everybody does. Anthony Lynn is another one who's going to be on the staff as well, who was a former head coach.
Yeah.
What's his position? He's
like run game coordinator. So he came from, and running backs coach. So he came directly from San Francisco. But you're right, Tico. He was a
head coach of San Diego Chargers.
Yeah.
And the LA Chargers, right? Did he make it to LA?
No,
I'm not sure.
I think he might have been before the LA days.
Yeah.
But so let's round out, because there's really only, we're going to keep this fairly short, and then there's a few key coaching positions.
Yeah.
Head coach, offensive coordinator, and really deep. Well, did anyone want to say more about offensive coordinator?
I'll be honest. Everything that you guys said already, I was going to say.
Right on. So we're up to Joe Witt.
Joe Witt Jr. Yes,
Jr. He's a D coordinator.
Yep.
Yeah, and Dan Quinn brings him from Dallas, right? So what was his role in Dallas, Bradley?
So he was with the defensive backfield.
Yes.
Defensive backs. Okay.
Yes.
And so with us needing that,
absolutely,
that was an area of our team that we have been terrible at for a while. So this could be a good thing. He's got some experience. We'll see.
Would you guys say
Quinn likes
better than the guy we had in there before, who I don't remember who we had, but
so if I can remember correctly, that guy, I don't remember his name. He was fired even before Jack Del Rio was fired.
Right?
So he was fired mid-season because of the terrible performance. And remember, we picked Emmanuel Forbes #1 or in the first round last year. And he had, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He had a terrible season.
Yeah.
So bring in the new guy in, and, we'll go to this later, but Emmanuel Forbes has come out and said, I'm ready for a fresh start. And this coaching staff is exactly what I need. They bring a fire, they bring an intensity, and they bring the knowledge to, I always felt like the last regime wasn't great teachers. They might have had some skill with the defensive coordinating, but I think Dan has hired great teachers, and I'll talk a little bit more about each, just highlighting a couple of the other coaches.
Okay.
But Eddie, to your point, I think he's leaps and bounds above the last guy we had, and we can see his track record with people like Deron Bland, who had, I think, 7 picks last season, and and
Trayvon
Diggs, who had
before he got hurt,
7 or 8 the season prior. So he does have this knowledge to mold the young guys that we have. And we picked up a defensive back, round 2 this season. We picked up, 2 defensive backs in the first 2 rounds last season. So we got some young guys who need the proper coaching, and we'll see what they can turn into.
Agreed.
And and hopefully we got some veterans. We got Ryan Kerrigan is back, and Ken Norton Jr.
Yep. And Ken Norton Jr.
Yep. Yeah, people will remember that
he's
name.
got that Super Bowl pedigree.
He is.
And he's really been around for a while.
Yeah.
Is he related to Ken Norton, the boxer, too?
It's his son. Yep.
His son.
So they can kick some ass.
There you go.
If you don't get the job done, pow, right in the kisser.
Some other just notable names here. I would say, Anthony Lynn is one, but Brian Johnson was the offensive coordinator last season for the Eagles. And they had a rough go of it, but he is now the assistant head coach and offensive pass game coordinator for our team. So we'll see how him and Cliff work together there.
Yeah.
With conjunction with Tavita Pritchard, who was also here last season.
That's
and he's the quarterback's coach. So those are kind of the notable names on offense. And then on defense, you mentioned him, Ken Norton Jr. He is well known for being an excellent linebackers coach. And Daryl Tapp, maybe it's Darrell. I'm not sure of the pronunciation of that one. He's also one to look at. He's our defensive lines coach. I've heard great things about him. And the last guy I want to highlight is Larry Izzo, our special teams coordinator, coming over from Seattle, who, special teams doesn't get the credit that it's due. And there's going to be a lot of changes this season because of the new kickoff rules. But Seattle has had one of the best special teams in the league for the last couple seasons, and that's all thanks to Larry.
And our special teams has been just kind of flatlining for the past few years. So, well, that's good. That's a good wrap up of the coaching staff. I think. There's more names here. You people can look them up if they want, but I don't think most of the other names are going to be familiar to anybody. And so those are the key. These are the key names anyway. It's like, obviously. Everything remains to be seen, but there's a lot to be excited about right now. And I especially, just want to highlight that fire that I see DQ Dan Quinn bringing to the room. It's very exciting. A lot to look forward to.
Anybody else have anything to add on this one?
I think we can get out of here on that one, and
let's get out.
Take us out.
Right.
Take us out.
Well, that's a wrap for this episode of Command West. Thanks so much for watching. We hope you have just as much fun listening as we did bringing you the latest and the greatest on the Burgundy and Gold. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and tune in for the next episode in this series, bringing you the off season of 2024. Thanks so much.
It'll be coming soon.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.